and thank you so much for joining me for Technique Tuesday. My name is Sharon Rogers, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Wells, Maine. And this is my Stampin' Buddy, Crash. Say hi, Crash. And every second Tuesday of the month, I like to share some techniques with you. Tonight, I'm going to be showing you how to create 3 different types of shaker cards. So let's get started. For my first shaker card, which is going to be the traditional shaker card that I first learned, I'm going to be bringing in woodland scenery. I used this at my retreat this weekend, and it was, people loved it. It's just so simple and sweet. It really made some beautiful cards, and it's only a $17 stamp set. So if you like scenery and like to build your own scenery, this is something to consider. All right, I'm going to start. My base for my card is going to be the Christmas Greetings Mix and Match specialty cards and envelopes. So it comes in 2 different plaids. One is Crumb Cake and one is Garden Green, and they have gold accents and coordinating envelopes. They are 4 by 6 or 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 inch card sizes, so they are larger than our normal base. I'm going to make this into a landscape card, and I've also brought in a piece of crumb cake, and this measures, I already forgot what I cut it to, 3 by 5. And then I have a smaller piece that is 2 1/2 by 4 1/2. I just want to make sure that it is definitely smaller than this. I probably could have cut it slightly larger, but this is okay because these pieces are pretty small. Now, something else I'm going to do is bring in my crumb cake piece, and I'm going to cut a hole in it to create my scene. So what I'm going to do, and I need my hole to be a little bit smaller than this in size. So since this was 1/2 inch smaller than this layer, okay, you can see that you've got about 1/4 inch all the way around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in a 1/2 inch from all sides. So I'm going to start, I'm going to put my cutting tool at the 1/2 inch mark. I've aligned it to the 1/2 inch over here. And I'm going to cut up to 4 1/2. And then while I've got those measurements in my head, I'm going to spin it around 180 degrees. And I'm going to cut from the 4 1/2 down to the 1/2 inch mark. And then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Put my edge at the 1/2 inch mark, cut up, 1/2 inch mark, and all I'm doing right now is I'm cutting from 2 1/2 to 1/2, but really what I'm doing is I'm putting my cutting blade so that it hits this cut line already, and then this bottom cut line, and then you can see you get a frame. This is scrap. So what will happen is we're going to build our scene, and it's going to look like that on the front of the card. All right. Ooh, it looks like I used my bad blades on this. I have to, to neaten those edges up a little bit. Just doing that with my finger. All right. So now I need to build my scene in here. All right, let's bring in our builder pieces from Woodland Scenery. And we've got all sorts of pieces in here, and I've already got some of them mounted. I'm going to bring in my deer. Let's see, my deer faces to the left. I mean, he's looking back to the right, but he's facing like he's walking that way, left. So I'm going to put him on the left side. Probably put him near some bare trees. So let's stamp some trees in crumb cake. here. And I'm going to just stamp right off the edge, even though the edge isn't going to show. I'm going to also do them a little bit on this side as well. All right. I've got the cabin all mounted. And let's see. I'm going to do the cabin in early espresso. There we go. And you know what? I think we need some smoke coming out of that chimney. And I know that normally you would probably stamp smoke in gray, but we're going to do it in crumb cake just to keep this sort of monochromatic. But I'm going to stamp it off a little bit so it's not quite so dark. There we go. And you've got the little smoke coming up there. That's cute. And then we need the little deer because the deer is adorable. So let's put the deer on here. And I'm going to get out my pecan pie. That's what color my deer is going to be. Got some ink on the edge of my block, so I better take that off before I get in trouble. There we go. And there's my deer. So there's my scene. Let's get my inks out of the way. Now to create a window card, you're going to need a window. So we have a window, but it's open. But this is what it's going to look like. That's a cute little scene, don't you think? But what we want to do is make it a shaker card. And so we can't just like put that in there the way it is, right? Because everything's going to fall out. So here's what we're going to do. First of all, let's put this down. Let's tack this down. And as long as we center it, we'll be a good shape because we've given ourselves plenty of allowance in the border. And let's see if I put this on here. Yep, that'll look nice just like that, right? All right. So here we go. Now we need to create the shaker mechanism itself. For that, we need some window sheets. So if you recall, our frame was 3 by 5. So I need to cut a piece of acetate or window sheet that is just under that, as in just a smidge under that. So there's 5. I'm just going to go 1 tick mark to the left of 5. Scoring, it's not a good idea. Let's cut it. And 3 inches, 1 tick mark back. There we go. Got some silver on this. There we go. And we need to adhere this to our frame. And you can adhere it using tear and tape. You can adhere it using glue. I'm going to use tear and tape because with acetate, glue takes a while to set up. So I think tear and tape is our better choice. Let's see, find the end of this. And I'm working on the back side now. And unlike with the next step, you don't have to have this completely taped. Because this is just holding the acetate on. You also want to try to avoid handling the window sheet as much as possible. If you do get your fingerprints on it, you can kind of buff them off. I'm just going to put more on it probably. But I'm going to try to handle the edges. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Okay. All right. So this is going to go right over the top, but we need some space to create, sorry, just neatening up my edges a little bit. And time for a new blade on my trimmer. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I have a couple of different choices. I've got these loose shaker elements, which are on clearance, but they've got all sorts of color in them, and I'm not sure that I really want the color. So I'm going to bring in my sequins, my loose gold sequins. Now, it's not ready for me to add yet because I'm not, I don't have the spacer that I need for it, but I will be adding these. But for the spacer, I'm going to bring in my foam adhesive strips. Now, if I didn't have a rectangle, if I had a circle, I would just have to kind of trim these and mold them around the edge. But the key here is that you need a tight fit. You need everything blocked off. So I'm gonna make sure that's not a nice edge there. There we go. What I'm gonna do is tight fit right up against it, and I'm coming pretty close to the edge of the window. Let's trim that. Let's see if this piece is long enough. I think it is. Yeah. Ooh. Well, that's fine. It's fine. And then we need one more piece. Let's see. Go right up to it. And we're gonna come right down here. And I want to make sure that those come right together. You don't want any holes that those sequins can shake through. Now, if you are using other shaker elements, so you buy some, like even these right here, you've got some very, very tiny pieces in here. Those can get through pretty little holes. These sequins that I'm using are larger, so they're going to be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the backs off this. Okay, got them all. And let's go ahead. I'm going to just hold this down with my bone folder for a second. Take some of these sequins. And this just, you know, kind of mimics the gold stripes. You've got the gold element in the stripes, and you've got the gold element in this. And I'm not putting a lot of shaker pieces in there. Oh, look at what I did. Let's try this again, shall we? You want to put this in the center because you don't want them sticking to the adhesive when you put it on. It just needs to be in the middle of the card. All right, let's see if I can get this right this time. You might find it helpful to use a little bit of something to make this less staticky. So for instance, you can use an embossing buddy just to add a little bit. It adds a little bit of powder to it, but it's going to be pretty negligible. A lot of times I don't use it, and then I kind of regret that I didn't use it. All right, now let's see if we can just, you can see that they're already wanting to jump to the acetate. That's kind of cool, isn't it? All right, let's see. I'm going to have to get over this to make sure that I'm straight here. Helps that I've used the lines. And there we have our little shaker card. Now, some of the pros and cons here. So you can see that some of them stand up a little bit funny because of the static, but I mean, it's still fun to shake, right? And the bonus of this kind of shaker card is you hear the shake. With the third one, you're not going to hear the shake, but that's really cute. We had some snowflake elements a year or two ago. Those would have looked nice in the bottom as well, just a bunch of snow dancing around. But I wanted to put the gold with the gold stripes. So that is a little shaker card. We just need to add a sentiment, I think, to the front. All right, I've brought in just a little strip of paper. It's 3/8 inches wide. And I'm going to just cut one of the ends on an angle, the other end straight. And I'm going to put this, where am I going to do? I think I'm going to do it over here. I'll cut this one straight too. This will just fit right over the top, which means that we just need some glue dots. I mean, I guess I could put it down here too. Let that stick out over the edge. Or do we want it centered? Do we want it to stick down a little bit? Oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Let's do that. So I'm going to just bring in some glue dots. Rather than get out my roll, I'll just use up some of these paper pumpkin ones. Someday I'll use them all up. And I want to sneak this a little bit towards the top. So I want my glue dots to be near the top of this strip. And we'll take the backings off. And we'll put this right on here. We'll center it as best we can, left and right. That's pretty good, I think. This side's not exactly straight. I need to straighten it out a little bit more. Here we go. Let's get this one a little bit closer so it mimics the other side. And about 2/3 of the way on. There we go. And there is our little shaker card. We could build another scene inside if we wanted to. We'll bring in the bear. I just cleaned these, so that's why I wasn't going to do it, but oh well. And we'll bring in the single tree. So the single tree. Now the bear, his face is walking towards the right. So I'm going to put the tree down here in the left-hand corner. And then we'll put the bear in early espresso, walking right next to it. All right. So there's our inside scene. And whether it's Happy New Year, Happy Winter, Merry Christmas, you can make the card whatever you'd like. But there's our little shaker card. For our next card, we're going to use the Nests of Winter Suite. Now, many of you may have a little bit of this paper left, but if you want more, this is on the last chance list. So now is the time to get it. With winter approaching here in New England, this is probably going to go quickly. I mean, it's approaching in a lot of places, the northern part of the United States. But there's just some really pretty papers. And we're going to use, let's see, I'm going to use this one right here. Just going to make it for a very simple card. Simple shaker card. What I like best about this is if you just cut it down, I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4. Yeah, 5 1/4 by 4. Now let's see. Yep, that's going to be good. 5 1/4 by 4 gives us this little piece right here. Now, I don't think I want a crumb cake base. I think, although I was going to go with crumb cake because it does coordinate with a lot of the papers in this set, I think a better one to use here is going to be early espresso. So here's just an early espresso card base. And look at how wintry this looks already. Now we're going to lighten it up a little bit and make it a little bit more cheery. To make this card, which is a shaker card, we're going to call this a faker shaker card. I mean, I didn't come up with that name. But you'll just need one of our clear envelopes. You're going to tuck this piece of designer series paper that we just cut inside. And you want to push it to one of the corners. Doesn't matter which corner, just all the way in and all the way to one edge. Then you're going to take this flap. Well, we need to put in the shaker elements first, I guess. But you want to make sure that it is definitely all the way to one edge. So manipulate that however you have to get that down as far as you can to tucked into one of the edges. I'm going to bring in those loose shaker elements that I mentioned before, and these are also on the last chance list. And I know that there looks like there's a lot of color in here, but it's really a lot of white and iridescence. So, but it's going to pick up some of the colors in the birds as well. It's just going to add a little bit element of fun, and it's a little hard to see on camera because the light is picking it up. So I'm just gonna put in, I guess I can put in a little bit more. Top of my spoon fell off. All right, there's a little bit more. So we've got it all tucked in as much as we can. I'm gonna flip this over. Okay, if I see any on the back, I wanna remove that. That's just gonna provide some unnecessary bulk. Come on. Or I can scoot it back to the other side, which I can't do that either. Let's work smarter, not harder. There we go. It's out. I'm going to seal this all the way down as tight as we can go. And remember, we wanted this as tight as we can go to the other edge, and then we're going to tape this down. And I'm just going to take my tear and tape and tape that edge down. Don't even have to remove the backing of the tear and tape. I'm just going to, let's tear off that piece. Okay, so we've got that nice and tight in there. And this is our shaker card. It's kind of fun because the blues picked up from the blue jay that's up here. We have a blue jay or two out at our feeder all the time now. They're kind of the bullies. They're big. They scare the other birds away. Today we had, well, when I'm shooting this, which is Sunday, we had a squirrel that was contorted on top and reaching down underneath. Oh, so much for the squirrel-proof feeders that we have. Anyway, so now that's our shaker. All we have to do is put this on the front of the card and decorate it. So to put it on the front of the card, I'm going to use some tear and tape. And I'm going to put a little extra on here. I'll make sure it sticks down pretty well. Okay, and let's see here. How am I going to decorate this? Well, let's see what we have for maybe some ribbon to bring in. ribbon or some twine. You know what, let's just, instead of any of that, let's just put a label up here and maybe decorate behind that. All right, so this is the basic card. We're just gonna need to decorate a little bit. Okay, there's a little stamp set that I used at my retreat. It comes from the Calm and Bright kit from the Kits collections. And the sentiments are really great. I'm gonna use this one on the next card, the From Our House to Yours. But it's just got some nice Christmassy and certainly wintry things, and you can build a little scene if you want to. These pieces are tiny, but I'm gonna bring in the Sending Joy. And I'm gonna emboss that on a piece of early espresso to match my card base. There we go. And let's use some white embossing powder. So, oh, it's already out of the package. Embossing powders come in packages of 3. This is the Basics powder, which contains white and clear and black. So we'll just put that on there, make sure that there's good coverage. Tap off the excess. Let's put this away. The Embossing Additions Toolkit comes with a tray. It's a lighter gray tray. This is an old tray that I had left over. I have 2 kit setups for me. I have the Basics embossing powders, which is, as I just mentioned, the clear, black, and the white. And I have that in one tray with an embossing buddy and a Versamark that I just keep all together in a box. And then I also have another box that is for my metallics. And that one also has the tweezers and the brush that come with the Embossing Additions Toolkit. So the Embossing Additions Toolkit is the embossing buddy, the tweezers, the brush, and the tray. And if you like to emboss a lot, which I love to emboss, especially this time of year, it's a really good investment. That black tray I've had for probably over 20 years. All right, so Sending Joy. You heat it just until it's all shiny and bright. Now I'm going to take my Stylish Shapes and I'm going to find the circle that fits that. I think this one's oh, it's not too small. Oh, I'm going to use that one. It is the second smallest, I guess. Before it shifts, let me go ahead and tack that down. We'll run it through our embossing machine. Plates 1, 2, 3, and another 3. All right, so I just have that nice little piece right there. Let's bring our card back in. Now would be a good time to add some ribbon if you've got some ribbon that you want to add, especially if you want it to wrap around the card. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to adhere this with a dimensional. But first, let's tack the card down to the card base. Tack the front down to the card base, I should say. Now, see this little piece popping up right here? I should have had a longer piece of tear and tape. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit more right on that corner. I'm going to tack that down. I'm going to come right into the inside. I would have used just regular Scotch tape, but I think we're out at the house. My son, my older son, sells some stuff on eBay, and I think he goes through a lot of it. Well, eBay and other kind of places. Now let's go ahead and bring in a dimensional for this. Let's see. I've got my small ones, but where are my large ones? Well, oh, there they are. There they are. So there we have just that. And I don't think it needs anything else because it's got all this fun shaker part to it. And so that is shaker card number 2. This next shaker card is new to me. It is a tulle shaker card and it stays flatter. So we're going to bring in a piece of this pretty plaid. It is from the Gathering Together Designer Series paper pack. Let me show you some of the other beautiful papers in that. Let's see. So we've got this one with some leaves, Cajun craze, and then we've got multicolored fall leaves. We've got kind of a wood grain with some old olive and gold stripes. We've got a basic beige grid kind of thing with some more pretty fall leaves just in Cajun craze and basic beige and early espresso. We've got another brown background with little circles on it and another pretty plaid. This one that we're using with some gold and basic beige on there. And I think there's one more. I think I can find the other one. Let's see. Yeah, and then there's this kind of light wood with that one on the back with a basic beige background. So, whoop. All right, let's get started. I'm going to cut a piece that is what we normally use for a typical layer here. So 4 inches by 5 1/4. I'm going to make the 4-inch cut first. And then 5 1/4. All right. Now this is going to layer on a card front. So I have here a piece of thick basic white that's already been scored. And this is going to be a card front. I want to tack it down just temporarily for the moment though. So what I'm going to do is just use a little bit of my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to take a little bit of the tackiness away just to help remove it later. That will become a little bit more clear later too. All right, so we put that there. Now we're going to bring in a shape. And you can bring in any shapes you want. I'm going to be using a sentiment from the Amber Autumn stamp set. And I think I'll be using Autumn Wishes because I can turn that into a birthday card or just almost any card, really. So let's see which shape Autumn Wishes goes in. And because of how we have to make this, I suggest using either a rectangular die, a square die, something with nice straight edges. Not this. This will be much more time consuming. So Autumn Wishes, that's going to fit in, let's see, not in this one. It's the second largest one. So we're going to set that apart here. You can use any square punch you want as well. I'm going to just bring in that's too big. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to determine where I want to put this. And I think I want to put this right about here. So I'm centering it left and right from this pattern, but it's a little bit more to the top. I'm going to sandwich it right between those two top and bottom brown early espresso stripes. So let's just put that down there. And now we're going to run this through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So we have our machine. Then we have plates 1, 2, and 3. And here we have another one. Now, because we're doing the full card, you want to make sure that the whole thing is on the plate so that, you know, if you have it sticking off, let me see, if you have it sticking off at this edge, when it goes through the plate, you're going to get a line here. So you want to make sure that that is completely on that clear plate. And you want to angle it just a little bit, as much as you can, while maintaining position on the whole plate. All right. That just means that this hard edge isn't going to go quite through parallel to the rollers. When it goes through parallel to the rollers, it's not very happy generally. And you get a big boom. You're going to get a little bit one still here, but not bad. All right, now we can set this aside. If you like my technical terms, boom, boom. Okay, I take this off, okay, because I had put the adhesive elsewhere. These two aren't stuck to each other, which is great. This one I'm going to be able to remove, which I want to do. One important thing that I forgot to mention is it is very helpful for you to know you're going to want to put this back in the hole at some point so it shows through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn this over and I'm going to write a little arrow that says that one is up. I think that I'm going to find that pretty helpful. Rather than, I want my stamped layer to be layered onto this back little piece here. So what I'm going to do, I can trim it down. Rather than cut another piece that's just smaller, I'm just going to use my paper trimmer to cut it. And if I use my guide, this ditch right here is where it gets cut, but there's a little bit of a darker border. So that whole section is like 1/8 of an inch. So half of it's like 1/16 of an inch. If I just cover that up and cut, that cuts the dots off. Can you see? And we're going to do that all the way around. So we're just going to line it up to the edge here, all the way around. Just cutting those little dots off. You could cut more off, depending on how large your sentiment was. And I think we just need a little bit to show. So, see, we'll just have that. And that's just going to decorate the inside of our card. For instance, if I just fold my card here, what you're going to have, where's my up? I'm going to have that in there like this, so that when you open the card, well, open the card, you're going to have this little decorative portion in here. So it just adds a little something extra inside. And you still have a little bit of room to write, but you don't have a ton of room, which is great if you're somebody that doesn't like to write a lot. I'm going to bring in my early espresso just to tone down the colors a little bit. And that's how I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And so let's see, let's just put that right there. Autumn Wishes. And we can embellish that a little bit later if we want to for the inside. And we can go ahead now and adhere this. Perfect. And to find out where that's going to go, I'm going to wait just in case I don't have it centered perfectly when I put it back in or on the card front. I'm going to wait to adhere that. Let's just gently take this off. Now, one of the reasons why I did remove my sticky a little bit was to make it easier to remove this. You don't want to bend the card. And even still, it's a little bit, I could have taken off some more of the tack with my fingers just to make this a little bit easier. Okay, we're going to set this aside. We don't need this for right yet. All right, so now what we need to do is bring in some tear and tape. And you're going to cut off, or you're going to tear off several strips. And you're going to put it right near the hole. And you will want them to overlap because you want stickiness all completely around that cutout. So let's go ahead, burnish that a little bit, and then we can get that off there. There's one. There's another. And then we'll do the edges here. You can't see it because it's white on white, but there is a bit of an overlap here. All right. Now what we're going to bring in is tulle, and I just got this at the local big box store. And this hole right here is about 3 inches, I think. If I could find my ruler, I could let you know for sure. But since I am still, my stamp room is still recovering. Oh, wait, I found one. It's still recovering from my retreat, so finding things in here is not so easy. So it's about, the opening is about 2 3/8. All right, so our tulle is 6 inches wide, which is great. We're going to double this over. But I'm going to need a piece that's probably, let's do about 3 inches wide. And I'm not going crazy with making sure it's perfectly cut. Ooh, it's so hard to see. It helps to have a darker background to see. Probably helps to use larger scissors too, like fabric scissors. Ooh. Okay. Didn't cut the last little string. There we go. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put this top edge right along that sticky strip, and we're just going to press it down. I'm not really stretching it. I'm making it straight, but I'm not really stretching it. You can see there's some extra at the bottom here, and that's going to end up folding up on the top. All right, but right now what we need to do is take another layer of sticky strip because we want to make sure that that tulle is down really well. We're pressing it in there. Get that tulle really stuck down well. Just stacking it right on top of the other strips. Did I take that one off? I did. All right, now before we put this tulle up over, that's where we need our little filler. We need our little shaker elements. So I'm going to bring in these loose gold sequins. Let's see if we can get the top off. Okay, there we go. And you want to make sure that you just put it in the center here. I'm not going to put too much in, I don't think. That's probably pretty good. And then I'm going to carefully fold this up. And then I'm going to press in my tool. Yeah. Press in my tool. Let's see, make sure. Where's that top one? Yep, it's all pressed in. Okay. Looking good, I guess. And then one more time, we are going to do some sticky strip. So yeah, there are some thicknesses here involved, but it's really just a couple of, 3 thicknesses of sticky strip, which is not very thick. All right, we're taking those off. One of the advantages of this type of shaker card is that you don't have the static from the acetate that you do with window sheets. That static can be annoying. Not quite as bad with the heavier gems, but definitely with the lighter smaller ones. All right, so now we've got that all set. We want to put this back on. So I'm going to put a little bit more adhesive on. Make sure that my sides can stay stuck down. And I'm going to try my best. I'm looking at the opening and I'm covering up the opening that I see. Because remember, the square got cut right out of here, so it should go back nicely, just like that. And oh, you know what I should have done? Before I put the tool on, I really should have put this in so that I knew where the window would be. Well, we're gonna make do. I'm gonna try to remember to put a note in. I'm gonna hold this with my fingers for right here, for right now. There we go. So you can see Autumn Wishes kind of shining through, and there's our little shaker card. Now, it needs a little bit more something, right? And look, I mean, you can see right through it. It's kind of cool. All right, I've gone ahead and I've pre-cut some leaves. These leaves come from the die set that goes with the Amber Autumn bundle. So it's the Amber Autumn dies. Well, that's not the dies. Let's see if I can find the dies here. Oh, yeah, they're right in front of me. So these are the Amber Autumn dies. These 2 dies cut out this image and this image. Then you've got this beautiful background and then the leaf and another, I don't know, piece of hay or something. All right, so now let's go ahead and see if we can add just a little bit. Now, I thought the 2 metals together looked very nice because this earthen toned metallic paper or cardstock goes nicely with the early espresso. We've got the gold that kind of ties in the gold sequins. I thought that looked really nice. So let's go ahead and add those, and I think we can just add that with a mini glue dot. Let's see here. So let's, and I don't really want to cover too much of here because when I open it up, you do see this leaf. It's not a huge deal, but the less I put over there, the less you notice it from the inside. So let's go ahead and we'll just take some glue dots off of here, stick it right to the metallic piece. And let's do this. And then we'll do the same thing on the next one. And I'm just trying to find a bigger area that the glue dot will fit into and not show through. Let's see, do I want... Let's see how that looks. I mean, it's okay. It's just a white leaf showing on the inside. So I think that looks nice. And then what we can also do is we can do this in the inside as well. Now, when you do it on the inside, it will show, unless you're just doing it like we just did. and put it around the edges. And I think that looks fine too. So let's get another one of these and just replicate what we did on the front. Ooh. Yep, that looks good. And then this one, you can put somewhere else, but I mean, we could do it just like this too. All right, and so there we have our little shaker card, and look at how freely those move. And it is so thin. It's not like any other shaker card. It is so thin. It's wonderful. And that is a tulle shaker card. Well, as you can see, Crash says it's time to clean up. I hope you have enjoyed tonight's Technique Tuesday and that you will give at least one type of shaker card a shot. They are so much fun. You'll be shaking them all over the place once you've made one. Now, for those of you who place an order of $50 or more in my online store this month, I'm going to send you supplies to create 3 shaker cards, 1 of each type. All you have to do is place an order in my online store. You can find that link in the description of this video. I will also send you the written PDF tutorial that goes along with them. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and we will see you on Thursday, where I'm going to show you a little tip. I'm not sure one you're going to employ, but a tip about creating your own shaker elements. Have a great rest of your week.